Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're celebrating an absolutely massive milestone, and that is the 20th anniversary of Google Translate. We're going to explore how what started as a seemingly simple text experiment 2 decades ago has completely transformed into one of the most vital artificial intelligence tools connecting humanity today. Honestly, whether you're traveling the globe, learning a new language for your career, or just trying to make a new friend online, this tool has likely played some part in your life. But, before we get into the heavy tech and the massive data sets, I want to hook you with a little secret. We have 20 years of data on what humans say to each other across language barriers, and the most translated phrases over the last 2 decades are, well, they're surprisingly emotional. They aren't business terms or technical jargon, but I'm going to keep you in suspense for now. We'll get to those exact phrases at the very end of our journey today.
To truly understand how this tool evolved, we're going to follow a quick 5-part journey. We'll start with the giant scale of Google Translate, explore the evolution of Gemini AI, look at breaking beyond plain text, dive into the cultural and educational phenomenon, and end with the most universal message of love. Okay, let's dive right into this.
Chapter 1, the giant scale of Google Translate. To grasp the staggering macro scale of this platform today, we have to recognize that this isn't just some niche tool anymore. It now supports nearly 250 languages. That covers about 95% of the entire global population, and incredibly, it now includes regional dialects and endangered languages that might otherwise literally be lost to time.
To really put this utility into perspective, over 1 billion people rely on this platform to translate languages every single month. Let that sink in. That is 1 in every 8 people on Earth pulling out their phone or opening a browser to bridge a communication gap every 30 days. And what exactly are those 1 billion users doing? Well, they're generating a mind-blowing 1 trillion translated words every single month. When you think about the sheer computational power required to process 1 trillion words, it's nothing short of an engineering marvel. But, numbers that big can be kind of hard for our brains to actually comprehend. So, this brilliantly illustrates the sheer volume. If you sat down right now and tried to read just 1 month's worth of that translated text out loud, reading nonstop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it would take you 12,000 years to finish. That's the amount of human communication being processed every 30 days. It's wild.
So how exactly is this possible? That brings us to Chapter 2, the evolution of Gemini AI, the brain behind the translations. Let's look under the hood at the actual technology powering this massive scale and see how the artificial intelligence has evolved to handle those trillions of words.
If we track its history from day one, we see a very clear, rapid progression. In 2006, Google Translate started as a pioneer in what's called statistical machine learning. Then, by 2016, there was a major leap forward into neural networks, which completely changed how context was understood. And that brings us to the present day, where the platform is heavily integrated with the incredibly powerful Gemini AI models. So how does this evolution actually feel to you, the user? Well, in the past, translation was stiff and word by word, often read back by that classic robotic text-to-speech voice we all remember. Today, Gemini's audio-to-audio model has completely revolutionized the experience. If you're wearing headphones, you can get natural, real-time translations that actually retain the tone and emotional rhythm of the original speaker. Because of this, users are no longer just doing quick text checks. About a third of live translation sessions now last over 5 minutes. People are having deep, flowing conversations, even conducting job interviews across language barriers, because the AI now actually understands nuance and local slang. Moving right along to our 3rd chapter, breaking beyond plain text. Because let's face it, communication doesn't just happen perfectly typed out on a keyboard with a super fast internet connection. Think about it. What happens when you're traveling and you suddenly drop out of cell service? Even when you have 0 signal, this tool remains an absolute lifesaver with its robust offline modes. Users plan ahead, and these 5 languages, English, Arabic, Spanish, French, and Japanese, currently lead the pack as the most downloaded languages for internet-free offline use. Furthermore, we don't just communicate with our voices, right? We communicate with our environment. Visual translation using your phone's camera via Google Lens has become a mandatory standard tool for modern travelers. You just open the camera, point it at a street sign or a super dense restaurant menu, and the AI instantly maps the translated text perfectly over the real world on your screen. It's basically augmented reality, making the world instantly readable, and it's genuinely incredible. That brings us to Chapter 4, Cultural and Educational Phenomenon. Let's look specifically at exactly who is using this tool today and why.
You might naturally assume everyone is just using this to translate a quick email or ask for directions, but surprisingly, a massive 1/3 of all users are actively utilizing the app specifically as a dedicated tool to learn a new language. Responding to this, new AI-driven pronunciation features and daily progress trackers have essentially turned the platform into a virtual language tutor.
And the cultural impact goes far beyond traditional foreign languages. In a hilarious twist of cultural utility, we're seeing a huge trend of bewildered parents using the AI mode to decode their own kids. Parents are literally typing in Gen Alpha internet slang like maxing it or clock it to translate modern youth vocabulary into something they can actually understand.
The AI has also become remarkably adept at nonverbal digital culture. People are now actively commanding the AI to translate plain descriptive text into perfectly curated strings of emojis. They're using the engine not to find a foreign word, but to perfectly capture a specific aesthetic, mood, or vibe for their social media posts.
We can even track global cultural moments in real time. We see massive spikes in live translate usage when fans want to understand the lyrics during global pop concert halftime shows. We see it during major political state speeches as the world tunes in. And, wonderfully, searches for translating American Sign Language, or ASL, have recently hit an all-time high, proving the tool's expanding role in accessibility.
And that beautifully sets up our fifth and final chapter, the most universal message of love. As promised, let's look at this from a philosophical perspective. What does 20 years of data, tracking trillions of translated words across the entire globe, actually reveal about humanity?
So here is the secret I teased at the very beginning. Despite processing 1 trillion words a month, and despite utilizing the most advanced neural networks and generative AI ever created, the top 4 most translated phrases over the last 20 years aren't complex. They're simply, thank you, how are you, I love you, and hello. They remain simple, deeply affectionate, and universally human.
This absolutely brilliantly illustrates our core nature. As the official 20th anniversary post noted, humanity will always look for ways to connect and express gratitude to one another. While the technology evolves at a breakneck pace, going from basic statistics to Gemini AI that literally understands rhythm and emotion, our fundamental human desire to connect, understand, and appreciate each other, well, that never changes. As we wrap up this explainer on 2 decades of incredible innovation, I want to leave you with this final thought. AI has officially given us the tools to effortlessly cross almost any language barrier on the planet. The bridge is built, and it fits right in your pocket. But the destination, who you choose to connect with today, is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for learning with us, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.